All right, guys, today we're going to be inspired by the painting I in the Village, and we're going to make our own artwork, starting with composition first. So what I mean by that is I'm going to make a shape. I'm going to choose to do, I think, a square. You can choose to do a diamond or a circle, and I have a worksheet that shows you some different examples of things you could do. Now I'm going to make an X through that. When I'm making the X through my square, I want to make sure, and I'm going to actually kind of bend my line a little bit to be sure that happens, that my line goes through the corners. And you can see I did have to give it a little bit of a bend to make that work. The reason is I want to make sure that I'm making 4 triangles. And if I don't do that, here I have a paper here and I'll show you. If I make a square and I do this, you can see it doesn't really make triangles. It makes these kind of pentagons, and I really want triangles. So then I'm gonna think of things that tell about me that could be shaped like a triangle. So an example is maybe I'll draw my house down here. My house is where I live and it tells about me. My house has a little chimney on it. It's made of brick. And maybe I'll make some of the plants in front of my house so it really does look like my house. Okay, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate my paper and I'm gonna look for something else that's shaped like a triangle. And you have a worksheet that gives you a lot of different examples, but these aren't the only examples in the world. So another one I think I'm gonna do is a tent, because I do like to go camping. So that's my tent right there. I'll make a little campfire in the front. Maybe I'll make a little camp chair there so I can sit and roast marshmallows. Then I'm gonna rotate my paper again, and I'm gonna make something else that tells about me. My favorite food in the whole wide world is ice cream. That tells about me. So I'm gonna turn that triangle into the cone, and maybe I'll put a cherry on top of my ice cream. And maybe I'll put some hot fudge. And maybe in the background, I'll put sprinkles just for something interesting in the background. The last area, I think I'm gonna turn it into an animal because I love animals. So I'm gonna turn it into a cat. Here's some cat ears, cat eyes. Whiskers, and then maybe in the background I'll draw things that a cat likes. So I'm gonna make a ball of yarn. I'm gonna make some cat food bowls. Maybe I'll make a little fish because cats like fish. And then I'm gonna start to add color. We are gonna be using chalk for this, and when you use chalk, you do wanna blend it, but not overly, and this is what I mean by that. So I'm gonna color my brick house red. And you can see initially when I color with this, it has little lines in it. If you take your finger and blend it, it makes the surface look really smooth. You have to do that within the color though. So I'll show you in just a minute what I mean by that. I'll finish coloring in my house, and then I'll show you what happens if you don't blend carefully. So again, I'm blending it with my finger, but I'm only blending it inside that shape. I'm not just blending all over. So I'm gonna make my roof, and my roof is brown. And again, I wanna just blend inside that shape. Now I'll show you what happens if I don't blend carefully. You can see I just lost all of my details on my house because I didn't blend carefully at all. I just kind of blended all over generally. So I turned my paper into a great big mess instead of a nice drawing like it used to be. It's really actually kind of difficult to get your drawing back once you blend like that. So try not to blend like that because it makes your life a lot more challenging. The good thing about chalk though is that you can layer it. So I am gonna add my windows on top, and when I wanna add small details, like maybe the lines on the window, I can take the black and go right over top to do that. I can make little bricks, and again, I'm just layering. And I'm gonna keep working like that until my paper is fully colored in. when I'm done using a piece of chalk, I do want to return it the way it was before. So for example, when I take the black out, I just get one out at a time. I put it right back into that container in the exact same slot, so I keep my chalk nice and organized. All right, now my art is all filled in, and you can see that the X is still there, but it's a little bit less clear. Once I have my first layer of chalk on, I can go back in and add my details, like maybe I'll go back in and add bricks here. I noticed that got a little bit fuzzy looking, so I'm gonna take my black and just kind of outline it. When I'm working in chalk, I wanna be careful to keep my arm out of it. If you run your arm through your picture, you're gonna get your arm all dirty, but you also ruin your picture underneath that. So try to stay off of your art once you've drawn on it. You can see how I'm kind of floating my arm above it. And like I said, I'm just going in and I'm adding nice details and tracing around things that might not look super neat anymore. It's okay if that initial X I had kind of disappeared. That's fine. I don't really need it anymore now that my paper is divided and I've added all those details that show about me.